Good afternoon everyone. Myself, Dr. Deepshika Singh. Here I am going to deliver the lecture on the fundamental of plant pathology under the course code BAG 208 for BSc Agriculture first year second semester student. I am an assistant professor in Tirthankar Mahavir University. Now I am going to deliver the lecture on this plant pathology. So what do we mean by plant pathology? What is plant pathology? First of all, we should know what do we mean by plant pathology. So plant pathology deals with the suffering of the plants. When the plant has been suffered due to any kind of causes, any reasons are dealt with this suffering when the plants have been suffered. So that is coming under the plant pathology. So there can be environmental factor also, and there can be living factors also which causes the diseases in plant. So what do we mean? These are some of the symptoms we can see of the diseased plant. So this is we can see by the image on also that this is not looking a healthy leaves. So some of the leaves are showing the spots, and some of the leaves are twisted. Some of the leaves are showing some drying area, and some are showing the yellowing and cracking of the leaves. So because of this, the leaves, we can make it out that the plant is not healthy and they are suffering with some kind of reason due to some environmental factor also, and due to some biotic agents also. So this we are dealing under the pathology. So first of all, we have to know what is a plant disease. So a plant disease is any abnormal condition which alters the appearance or the function of plant. So here in the earlier image also we have seen the pictures of some leaves. That leaves showed that they are not healthy. We can predict that they are not healthy by seeing some of the yellowing, some of the drying patches, and some spots over seed, because of which there will be the alteration in their appearance and the alteration in their function of the plant also. What will be the function? Main function of the plant will be that it will affect the yield and the quality of the food products. The plant, whatever product they will be giving, that will be affected by their yield. They will reduce the yield and the quality of the harvested products. So what do we mean by disease? Definition. The definition, we can make it out that a disease is any abnormal condition that alters the appearance or function of a plant, and it is a physiological process that affects some or all of the plant functions. Disease may also reduce yield and the quality of the harvested products. So disease is a process or a change that occurs over time. So disease doesn't happen at a suddenly or at one time. Disease takes some time to show their result. So because of that also, we can do the management. We can control the disease by seeing some of the symptoms. We can control the disease also, and it does not occur instantly like injury. It is having a proper cycle, and by which they start showing the symptoms. So that is the definition of a plant disease. So what is plant disease? Plant disease is any abnormal condition that alters the appearance or the function of the plant, and it is a physiological process that affects some or all plant functions. Disease may also reduce yield and the quality of the harvested product. So now we have to know about what is the difference between symptom and signs. What is the difference between symptom and sign? As we see some of the disease plant, and we see some of the alteration in their appearance. So what do we mean by the symptoms and what do we mean by the sign? So symptom is any visible effect of disease on plants are called as symptoms. What do we mean by that? When the pathogen is not being detected, when the pathogen is not detected, any spots are seen, any blotches are seen, any kind of this crinkling is seen, any twisted of the plant is seen, so drying is seen, so that is called as symptoms. But when we are not detecting the pathogen in it, that is called as symptom. So the when there is change in color, shape or the function of the plant is called as the symptoms. In response to a pathogen or disease causing agent, it is called as a symptom. What is a sign? Sign when the symptoms are shown and the pathogen is also detected. That is called as sign. So when there is symptoms like drying is seen or some spots are seen, and when we have detected the pathogen by which causal organism that kind of symptoms are seen, that is called as a sign. So what is sign? Sign of plant disease are the physical evidence of the pathogen. For example, the fungal fruiting bodies, bacterial ooze or nematode cysts. So sign can also help with the plant disease identification. So now we will see by what are the different agents by which the diseases are caused in the plants. What are the different agents? What are the causal organisms by which the diseases are caused in the plants? So pathogen. What is pathogen? Pathogen by which the parasitic organism that causes a disease in a plant is called as a pathogen. Any organism, any organism which is causing the disease in the plant, that is called as a pathogen. So there are many infectious plant diseases are caused by the living organism that attack and obtain their nutrition from the host they infect. So there are different two types of organism which causes disease in the plants. So first, as in the earlier slide also we have discussed that there are some environmental factor also which can affect the function of the plant or which can affect the form of the plant. So what are the environmental factors? Those environmental factors are called as the abiotic agents, which is not living. So that is called as the non-infectious. They are not at all infectious. They don't they are not transmitted from one place to another and from one plant to another or from one region to another. When they are not being transmitted, then that is called as the non-infectious plant diseases, and that are caused by only abiotic agents. What are those abiotic agents? Like environmental factors. Environmental factors, what are those environmental factors? Like due to excess of moisture, due to excess of sunlight, due to lack of humidity, due to toxicity, due to some wind, some frost, some rain, hail, due to some farm equipments, and due to this some environmental whatever toxicity is there, pollution is there, some wind is there. So by these types of agents which is not living thing, that is called as the non-infectious plant disease, and that is not at all transmitted from one place to another. And infectious plant diseases are those which is transmitted only by the which is caused only by the living organism. All those diseases which are caused by the living organism. What are those living organisms? The living organisms are like fungus, bacteria, viruses, nematode, and protozoa, and plant parasitic, endogamic plant parasites, and many other, like all those things which are living by which the diseases are caused in the plants, that all are coming under this infectious plant diseases, and they are also caused as the pathogen. So what is host? Host is all those plants by which these living organisms take the nutrients. When the plants are invaded by the pathogen and they are serving as its food source, so that plant which is serving as a food source is called as a host. So these are some of the images of the pathogen. We can see the images of a pathogen, that is fungi. We can see the fungal fructification. Fungal fructification is here. Bacteria. Bacteria we can see the bacterial ooze is coming. It is seen in bacterial ooze. This is viruses, and this is nematode, which is getting inside the plant root. Okay. So these are the different types. So generally we can, there are many other pathogens also, but generally we can say that these are the fungus, bacteria, viruses, nematodes are the pathogens which are coming under biotic agents also, and they are infections. So now we will talk about the role of the environment. So as we have discussed that the living agents are fungus, bacteria, viruses, nematode, etc. Those are all causing the diseases in the plants, and they are coming under biotic factors. And abiotic factors which is causing the disease in the plants, that will be this environment. So the role of the environment is also very important for development of the disease. So even the most susceptible plant, like which is very much not having so strength to resist the disease, that is called as the susceptible plants. Those susceptible plants, when they are exposed to a huge amount of pathogen, when there is a susceptible plant, that means the plant which is weak, they can be infected very easily, and a huge amount of pathogen is there. And when the environment is not suitable, when the environment is not there favorable, then they won't affect, then that pathogen won't affect the plant. So unless and until environment is there, then only the disease will occur. So the role of environment is very important. Like the host should be there, the pathogen to be there, and also the environment. Environment is playing a very critical role for causing the disease. So this is the disease triangle. This is the disease triangle in which we can see that the pathogen is been shown, host is shown, and the environment. So unless and until environment, pathogen, and host, all the three are coming together, then instead of environment, favorable environment for the disease to occur. Favorable environment, virulent pathogen, and this host, the suitable host. These three of them are coming at a particular time, then only the disease will occur. Unless and until any of the three factors, if they are missing, any of the three factors are either environment or pathogen or host, any of the three pathogen is missing, then there won't be the disease to occur. Then their disease won't occur there. Suppose that the environment, favorable environment is there and pathogen is there, but the host is not present, suitable host is not there, then the disease won't occur. If the pathogen is there and the host is also there, both of them are there, and favorable environment is lacking, then also disease won't occur. Similarly, when the favorable environment is there and host is there and the pathogen is lacking, then also the disease won't occur. So three of them are responsible, all the three should be present to cause a disease: environment, pathogen, and host. So that is called also as a disease triangle. This is the disease of soybean rust, which is in the soybean plant. The rust disease is affecting the soybean plant, and it is affecting just only when the pathogen, host, and the environment has come together at one time. then only this disease is been showing this pathogen is showing the symptom. So that is just because the disease triangle. If the soybean plant was not present at that time, only the pathogen and the favorable environment was there and the plant was lacking, will be lacking, then the soybean rust won't occur. Similarly, when the pathogen is lacking and only the plant and the environment is there, then also the disease won't occur. And likewise, when the environment will be lacking and only the plant and pathogen will be there and the environment is lacking, then also the disease won't occur. So the disease triangle is very important. That is, the disease triangle is the host, pathogen and environment should come together to form a disease in a plant. So there are certain group of plant pathogens. There are certain group of plant pathogens which can affect the disease, which can cause the disease in plants. So the diseases can be caused by fungi. The diseases can be caused also by bacteria. The disease can be caused by nematodes. Diseases can be caused by viruses. So there are viruses, but the fungi, bacteria, nematode, and some amylose like mycoplasma, algae, phanerogams, they all are coming under the biotic agents. And viruses are not coming under the biotic agents. Viruses are the acting as the intermediate between biotic, living and non-living. That we should know. And inanimate are all those abiotic characters. So first of all we will discuss about the fungus. What is fungus? So the fungi in a plural form we call it as a fungi, and in the singular way we call it as a fungus. So the fungus, this constitutes a large, very large and diverse group of the kingdom. Earlier it was coming under the plant kingdom, but now it has been given a separate kingdom. Now we have to study about plant, animal, and other group is fungus, or we can call it as fungi. So fungi is given a separate kingdom just because they are very, very vast and very, very diverse and very, very large amount of fungus we can see. There are more than 50,000 to more than 1 lakh known species, and there are many other fungus are there. Till now we have discovered about 50,000 to more than 1 lakh species we have discovered. But there are many other than that also. So we can make it out that fungus is a very vast majority. So also we have kept the fungus in a different kingdom. Earlier we were used to study fungus in plant kingdom. But now we have separated it and given it in a different kingdom, this fungus, and there are many other reasons also behind that, not only because they are very vast in number or very diverse numbers there, but that it has been separated from plant kingdom because they lack chlorophyll. They don't have this any photosynthetic pigments in their body, so that's why they have been separated from the plant kingdom. So what are fungus? Fungus, they are they constitute a very large and diverse group of plant kingdom. They look like a plant. They are plant-like. They are spore-bearing organisms which lack chlorophyll and other photosynthetic pigments, and they cannot synthesize their own food, so consequently they depend on other organisms for their nutrition. When they are not able to produce their own food, so they depend on the other organism for their nutrition. So they may be either saprobes or saprophytes. What is saprophytic? Saprophytes are those which are dependent on which bring their nutrition from the decaying organic matter. or they can be acting as the parasites. Parasites are all those which take their nutrition from the living organism. So they act as either saprophytes or they act as a parasites. And what by these relationship, when they take the nutrition from the dead thing or when they take the nutrition from the living thing, they cause the disease in the plants, animals, and also human beings. So they possess a very well-defined nucleus. They are having a well-defined nucleus and they reproduce by sexually and also asexually by the help of spores. They reproduce bisexually or sexual and as well as asexual by means of spores. So the plant body is very simple. There is no complication in their plant body. It is very simple and it consists of a network of branched mycelium, network of or branched filaments, which is called as mycelium, or we can call it as a hyphae. And the tangled mass of hyphae is termed as mycelium. They may be unicellular or multicellular filamentous structures with a firm cell wall which consists of either chitin or cellulose. So this is the definition of fungus. So what is fungus? Fungus are we can see that the fungus cannot be seen without a microscope also. They lack chlorophyll, so they are called as achlorophyllous. They are composed of the growing structure. Their body is very simple and no complication is there in their body, and they are made up of very delicate thread-like filaments, which is called as hyphae, and the tangled mass of hyphae is called as the mycelium, and they reproduce by means of spores sexually as well as in an asexual manner. And they are achlorophyllous and they are spore bearing organisms. So these are termed as fungus. So they can cause diseases in plants also, they can cause diseases in animals, and they can cause diseases in human beings also. So they cause disease. So now bacteria. So bacteria is the very small organism and they require the microscope to be seen. Some of the fungus we can see without microscope also, like mushroom. Mushroom is also coming under this fungus and they can be seen under, they don't need any microscope to be seen. But bacteria are very small organism, extremely small organism requiring microscope to be seen. So bacteria were probably first seen by Antony von Leeuwenhoek of Holland. So and the bacteria cells are very small, from less than 1 to 10 microns. They are measuring from less than 1 to 10 microns in length and from 0.2 to 1 microns in their width. So the majority of bacterial species exist as single cell forms. Majority of the bacteria are single cell, but some occur as filaments of loosely joined cells also. So because of their very small size, extremely small size, and general similarity of the structures, the classification of bacteria usually depends on physiological or biochemical characteristics rather than their morphological characteristics, because they are very small. So by they just seeing their structures, like either they will be rounded shape or they will be this rod shaped or they will be spiral shaped or they will be comma shaped. On their shapes, on their color they can be they are classified. Otherwise the structures is it is very difficult to see their structure unless and until a very high defined microscope is not there. So this is the bacteria is there, and they are very small and generally they are single celled, and when the cells are clumped together in masses, they are called as colonies. They obtain their food from dead or decaying organic matter and as well as living tissue. So they are saprophytic also and they are parasitic also, and they increase, the bacterial population increases in number in a very short time period. So that is the definition of bacteria. Now viruses are the most familiar because they cause human and animal diseases such as influenza, polio, rabies, smallpox and warts. They can cause some very destructive plant diseases. Actually, it is very difficult to control once the disease has been infected by the virus to the plants. Then it is very difficult to control, to manage it. That's why it is very destructive. Once it is affected, then it is not at all even to very it is not so easy to control it. So it causes a huge destruction in the plants. So they are also very small in size, measures only about 1 millionth of an inch in size. They measure only 1 millionth of an inch in size, and they are not at all complete living system unless and until they are dependent on the living organism to continue their life cycle. When the living organism, when they are not on the any living organism, then they act as a non-living thing. So that is the peculiar characteristics of viruses. So they survive only in the living cells. When the living cells are not there for their survival, then they also act as a non-living thing. So they are transmitted by the insects, which are called as vectors. We call the insects which transmit the disease of virus to different plants, they are called as a vector. So now about nematodes, there are a group of plant pathogens which is called as also nematode, and they also are causing diseases in the plants. So there are the structure of nematodes are round, slender, thread-like worms. They can be rounded also. They are slender, thread-like worms also. Some are parasitic on animals, insects, fungi, other nematodes and also plants. Plant parasitic nematodes have a stylet. So the nematodes which infect the plant, they are having a stylet by which they rupture the root of the plant, and they invade themselves inside the plant by the help of the stylet. So most of them live in the soil and they feed on or on the plant roots. So now this disease cycle is there. Disease cycle by which the